There are children who grow up far too fast, not because they wanted to, but because they had to. They become the peacekeepers in homes that never knew peace, the helpers in families that were falling apart, the emotional glue that kept everyone together, except themselves. They learn to smile through tension, to soothe the anger of adults who were never soothed themselves. They learn that their worth depends on how quiet, how helpful, how agreeable they can be. And slowly, they disappear. Not physically, but emotionally. Because in a world where love feels conditional, the safest thing you can do is to disappear into pleasing others. When you're a child, you don't analyze behavior, you just adapt. If your parent is distant, you try to become more lovable. If your home is chaotic, you try to become the calm. If you feel tension, you learn to sense it before it explodes. You monitor every voice tone, every sigh, every silence. You become hypervigilant. You try to keep everyone happy, because their happiness means your safety. And so you grow up with this quiet belief: if I can just make everyone around me okay, then I'll finally be okay too. But what begins as survival turns into identity. You become the good kid. Teachers love you, relatives praise you. You never cause trouble. But the truth is, you're scared. You're not trying to be perfect because it feels good. You're doing it because you're terrified of what happens if you're not. Every pleaser carries an invisible contract, one they never consciously signed. It says, if I give enough, if I love enough, if I make myself small enough, then people will stay, then I'll be safe. But the world doesn't read that contract, and no one else agrees to it. So the child who grew up pleasing everyone becomes an adult who doesn't understand why love always feels like a transaction, why they attract those who take, but rarely those who give. They can't see it yet, but the problem isn't that they're too kind, it's that their kindness is driven by fear. Fear of rejection, fear of being unneeded, fear of being unlovable if they ever stop being useful. Pleasers carry a strange kind of guilt, a guilt for simply existing. They apologize for everything. They say sorry for speaking, for asking, even for breathing too loudly. When someone offers to help them, they feel uneasy, as if receiving is something shameful. That's because somewhere deep inside, they believe that to deserve love, they must first earn it. And when life gives them moments of rest, they feel restless. When things finally go well, they wait for something to go wrong. Because peace feels unfamiliar, because somewhere in their nervous system, safety and discomfort have been confused. They don't know how to just be, they only know how to perform being okay. As they grow older, pleasers learn to perfect the mask. They smile when they're sad. They say I'm fine with trembling voices. They offer help even when their body screams for rest. To the world, they are reliable, grounded, kind, the person everyone can depend on. But when the door closes at night, they sit in silence, drained, lonely, unseen. And they ask themselves, why does no one ever notice when I'm the one who needs help? It's not that no one cares, it's that they've never shown what's beneath the mask. Because the moment they do, they fear they'll lose love, the very thing they've worked their whole life to keep. When you spend years being what others need, you forget who you are. You learn to read everyone else's emotions, but can't name your own. You're praised for being selfless, but inside you feel empty. And when you finally try to change, to set a boundary, to rest, to say no, people resist. Because they fell in love with the version of you that met their needs, not the real you. So when you stop pleasing, they feel betrayed. But the truth is, they were never in love with you, only with your compliance. And that realization hurts. It feels like loss. But it's also the first sign of freedom. Because real love doesn't require you to disappear. Healing doesn't mean becoming selfish. It means learning that disappointment won't kill you. It means realizing that people can be upset with you and still love you. It means understanding that your worth isn't measured by how comfortable others feel around you. Healing begins the first time you say no and don't over-explain it. The first time you rest without feeling guilty. The first time you let someone else be uncomfortable while you stay true to yourself. It's messy. You'll feel guilt, anxiety, even grief. Because the pleaser in you will fight for survival. It will whisper, "You're selfish." But that voice isn't truth. It's memory. The echo of a child who once believed that love had to be earned. The child who learned to please everyone did so to survive. They learned it in chaos, in loneliness, in uncertainty. But you are not that child anymore. You can stop performing now. You can stop earning your right to exist. You can speak even if your voice shakes. You can take up space without apologizing. You can rest. You can say no. You can live for yourself, not as someone's extension. Because healing isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before the world taught you to be small. The people who truly love you will never need you to shrink to fit inside their comfort. They'll love you even when you're inconvenient, even when you're imperfect, even when you finally stop pleasing them. So maybe the real act of courage isn't in giving more, but in finally giving yourself permission to be real, to be seen, to be heard, to be whole. Because the world doesn't need another perfect person. It needs someone brave enough to be themselves. You were never meant to live your life as a mirror for others. You were meant to be the reflection of your own truth. And that child who learned to please everyone, they were never broken. They were just doing their best with the love and safety they had. Now it's your turn to give that child what they always needed, permission to stop trying so hard. Let them rest. Let them breathe. Let them finally be. If this story spoke to you, thank you for listening. Maybe you saw a part of yourself here. The quiet child, the tired giver, the one who just wants to rest and still be loved. If you did, you're not alone. And if you'd like to keep exploring these quiet corners of the human mind, I'll be here, telling more stories like this one. Until then, be gentle with yourself. You've done enough for today.